Welcome to the Rev Mel Show on TSRnetwork.com, where real people talk about real sex with really kinky people. I am so excited to have my guest today, but before I have my guest, I'm going to tell you about my weekend. Incredible weekend. I locked myself out of my car. I got home from the Lear Side and I did not do any drinking, no partying, no. I had a little bit of sugar, but you guys know what sugar does to me. I've just had some, so you guys know exactly what sugar does to me. And I come out of the car, I have my hands full, and I realize I don't have my keys. My keys were in my ignition. Oh. And I only have one set of keys, except that I did hide a key somewhere around my apartment building so I could find it if I needed a key to get into my apartment. Because you know how many times I have locked myself out of my place since I've moved in here? Probably about 3 or 4 times, which is totally ridiculous. I am becoming the absent-minded professor. I am the gray hair lady. I am becoming senile. Alzheimer is moving in, but slowly, hope to God, very, very slowly. So I feel really absolutely ridiculous for locking my keys in the car. So at 4 o'clock in the morning, I am calling the locksmith. Now, he didn't know what he was coming into because he came over, he put the thing in and tried to, jiggle it and go, oh, with this cute guy, very cute guy. I could have eaten him up. He had this electricity about him. He had these beautiful blue eyes. He was Israeli. I mean, he had this little bit of an accent. He was like, he knew his shit didn't stink. Tall, perfect legs, exactly how I like it. So he puts the thing in, he jiggles it around, then he goes, oh, no, 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 I can't get this open. Then he puts this other thing, this pillow thing, pumps it open, and then he goes, oh, no, no, my thing isn't long enough to fit in this thing. It won't go all the way through. And then he leans back and he says to me, ready for this? Well, I can, in his little cute little accent, I can fix this, but it's going to cost $185. And I looked at him and I said, really? I says, you know what? I'm going to give you the $19 for your service fee. And then tomorrow morning, I'm going to call somebody else. He goes, oh, no, 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 no. I can fix this. I go, not for $185. Oh, then he goes, okay, I can fix it for $160. And I said, no, I will call somebody tomorrow. And I looked him straight in the eye. I says, you think I'm stupid? Do you think I would pay this amount of money to have this lock opened? And he looked at me. He goes, well, how much can you afford? And I says, well, I would really like to afford $50. He goes, well, what about $80? And I go, what about $60? So for $60, he opened up my car, and it was really amazing. He's still trying to do the little and I says, why don't you try the passenger side? It might be a little different. So he did. The first time he did it, it opened. Duh! Use your fucking brain. So he didn't know who he was dealing with. And there are people that are coming in watching the show. I can see you guys. Hello. If you're not in the chat room, please click in the chat room. So another thing, I posted an audio thing of me talking about authenticity and transparency. And I was really kind of vulnerable and real in this audio. I had to put it in video. It took me hours to render the fucker. I mean, hours. And it would have only taken me 5 minutes to render the audio. But I had to be able to get it up on YouTube. I had to make it into a video because I couldn't figure out. It was too big of a file for me to put the audio up on my website, so I had to figure something out. But I've been getting a lot of people writing me about it, and I want to thank you all. They've been writing me privately, and it's really awesome to know that other people have shared some of these vulnerable moments also in their lives. And we were talking about being authentic and transparent to thyself. And it's very, very important. And that's something that I've learned since since we relaunched the show, since we lost the old studio. It's something I've learned how to be really true to myself. And there are lessons to be learned. everything that we go through in our life, there are lessons that we are learning. We have to pay attention to it. And one of the reasons why I'm really excited about my guest is because he's also learned a lot of lessons too. As I used to call him the bad boy of BDSM. And I'm going to introduce my guest right now. I'm going to release the camera, so because he's going to be talking and you're going to be able to see the both of us. I want to not release. I want to introduce him. I'm going to have some more water. Watch this. Ready? Ooh, it looks like alcohol. I could be like, come here, baby. So the sugar has hit me. It has hit me. It's going to be a wild, crazy show. We're going to be talking about protocol in different communities and about how different communities differ. So I'm going to introduce my guest right now. Soda Sir, welcome. Woohoo!
Hey Mel, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing really well, actually. Loving it up here in Oregon.
In Oregon?
Yep.
So you're in Oregon. What do they do in Oregon?
Well, you know what? Honestly, the community up here is really, really active. There's pretty much something to do damn near every night of the week. It's a lot more going on than what I thought when I first came up here.
You mean in the BDSM community there's something to do every day of the week?
In the BDSM community, in the vanilla community, there's always something to do up here.
So what part of Oregon are you in?
I'm about 30 minutes south of Portland in a little town called Woodburn.
What do they do? I mean, do you know what the population is in Woodburn?
Oh God, no more than 30,000, I think. It's a little town.
I mean, everybody's moving away. Everybody's moving out of LA. They're all going somewhere else. They're trying to get me to go to Texas. They want me to go to Liberty Manor. I love Liberty Manor. I would go to Liberty Manor. I'm thinking of maybe retiring there. Maybe I should retire in Oregon. But you guys have snow, right?
We got snow for 4 or 5 days last February, and that was it. Most of the snow happens up on Mount Hood, which is maybe 45 minutes from where I'm at now.
You know, the Mount Hood sounds sexual, doesn't it?
What was that?
Mount Hood sounds sexual, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Ooh, she's kind of
cool thing is you can actually see Mount Everest from where we're at. It's kind of weird looking at a mountain that's flat on top.
Wow.
What was that one? That St. Helens. That's what it was. St. Helens.
You ever think it's like, what was that movie about the mountain that was flat? They were and all the people landed. What was it? Oh, Steven Spielberg's film, the crazy one about.
Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yes. So I would probably. I mean, have you seen flying saucers in your?
No, but I've seen a lot of space cadets. Portland's known for being really weird, and it's true. Portland is very weird.
I would fit in well.
Yes, you would, actually.
The stranger it is, the better it is, because I fit really well with strange people. If you're watching the show and you're not in the chat room, so far we have Desi, D-E-S-I, in the chat room, in the house. See? And people are going like, oh, there's really people in the chat room, there's really people, this is really live? This is not, fake? No. So, you moved up here how many months ago? How long ago?
I moved up here in March 18th of 2013.
Wow. I mean, do you guys have dungeons? Do you have, munches? Do you guys have the things that, Los Angeles, we are fucking spoiled. You know that.
Very, very true. And, we have munches 3 or 4 nights out of the week. There's at least one play party going on at some point in time during the week. We have places like the Valhalla House, which is a really nice private dungeon. Then we have Mead Hall, which is a really awesome dungeon owned by a good friend of mine by the name of Alebeard. Mm-hmm. He comes from the San Francisco community. He moved up here 10, 15 years ago, so his play space is awesome. Let's see. Then on once a month we have there's a huge crossover between the swinger community and the BDSM community up here. It's an unbelievably huge crossover. So once a month we take over one of the local swingers clubs and we do a kink night there. We have 3 individual smaller dungeons in the place, and play just goes on all night long. It's awesome. And then once a year we host Kink Fest, which is much like LA's DomCon,
Mm-hmm.
which is brought to our community by the Portland Leather Alliance, who I'm grateful to be serving on the board this year as their operations manager.
Wow.
And like DomCon, it's education, vending, things like that. The biggest difference is we have a 30,000 square foot dungeon.
How big?
30,000 square feet.
Oh my God, that's huge.
Yeah, it's humongous.
What is the community? I mean, I'm talking about the vanilla community think about this sort of stuff. I mean, are people pretty open to kink and to stuff like this?
The general consensus up here is if you're not hurting anybody, your thing is your thing, whether it's vanilla or kink or a mixture thereof. As long as you're not hurting anybody, you're consensual, nobody really blinks an eye at it, really.
Well, Desi in the chat room says sometimes 3 parties in one night. So I guess Desi is from up in your area.
Yep. Hi, Des.
It's really amazing the way that we're doing TSR Network now because of the fact that we can travel all over the world and introduce all different communities together, because we all have something in common, and that is BDSM and kink. And so many of our fellow Los Angeles Angelinos who partied hardy with us have moved up to Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many of you guys have moved up there?
Well, I know for sure Sir Chindy moved up to Eugene a year and a half before I moved up here. Mm-hmm. And then another good friend of mine by the name of Lady Annika, who used to hang out at the Bordello and whatnot. She lived in San Diego, moved up here 4 or 5 months after I did. So and then there's, who else moved up? Oh, Abrupt Edge. She moved up here as well from LA. Pig Carrie.
Yep.
Pig Carrie moved up here. She was in Eugene for a while, and then she came and stayed with me for a week or two and moved up to Washington.
Yeah, she really well. Normally comes into the chat room. She normally twiddles in about a half an hour late. And
she texted me this morning, and she has to work late tonight. So that's why she's not.
And Desi says in the chat room, "Hello, Soda," or she goes, "Hey, Soda." So, yeah, I remember when you first started. You were a troublemaker. I was a troublemaker. People don't know this. Soda and I, we did not mean to bump heads with each other, but we did, and we made great amends. Mm-hmm. Great amends. It's one good thing about growing up. I mean, we all have to mature. I mean, including myself in this. We know when we make mistakes that we can, rectify our mistakes, and we can have everlasting friendships, which I feel that you are my everlasting friend.
Well, it's been 7, 8 years now, Mel?
Yes, yeah, I remember when you first started. It was like, okay, he was a wild, crazy man, and you have a hot chick as your girl. She's beautiful.
Thank you. And yeah, that was when I first came out to the public community. Mm-hmm. I fell into Dom frenzy for a little bit, but we all go through it, and then we grow up, and we get things like gray hair and guts, and I don't even want to talk about that. Can we next subject?
Well, I normally say that the first 1 to 3 years, people want to learn, and they go to classes, and they learn everything, and then from 3 to 6 years, they function from nothing but sheer ego, and they think they know it all. And then when 6 years hits, and all of a sudden they realize, you know what, I'm an idiot, I know shit, and then they go back to taking classes, and they really become peaceful. They're like, wow, there's really more to this than just getting laid, just getting my cock sucked. We haven't talked about your cock in a long time.
And we're not gonna now either.
Oh, come on.
It's a short subject.
Come on, I don't want to have to go back to my old archive. So how big is your cock?
About half the length of my thumb.
Oh, those were the days. We had some wild times on the show. I mean, when he first came on the show, it was wild. Nikki and all these crazy people. We had it was madness.
Well, the very first time on your show, remember we did the scene with Spunky, and it was her first time ever doing a scene.
Yes, and to her loss last year. It was
Yeah.
last year when we lost when she lost her sir. You
Yeah.
know, it was really, really hard for all of us.
Well,
It,
Skip was well loved, and he should have. I mean, he was awesome people. So, I mean, Skip was just, he was tops.
yeah, he lived he lived each moment as if it was his last because he never knew because he was so sick all the time.
Yeah, and he lived life on his terms.
Yes, he sure did. And I think we need to learn some stuff by that, you know? I mean,
Very
you
true.
know, we're fortunate in our BDSM lifestyle that we have the graces of having people that are really mature and people that are really young all playing together and the things that we can learn from each other. So let's talk about a little bit. I still want to talk about you a little bit because we still have a little bit more time before we talk about our topic.
Okay.
So, do you, so what are was it really difficult for you to make the move to Oregon, and was it difficult for you to start a life there?
You know, that's one thing I can say about this community is they are an awesome community. From the first time that I came up here and went down to Eugene and did the hard impact class at Laura Desad for Sir Chindi till, I mean, it was just the entire 2 weeks I was up here. I actually missed my home flight, so I ended up staying an extra week. Thank you to TSA for looking in my toy bag. Oh, yeah. It was bad. I missed my flight by like 5 minutes because they had me in a little room going through my toy bag.
Bastards.
The community here is they're just so open and welcoming, and it's one of those, they like you until you give them a reason not to like you. Even if they hadn't met you, they like you until you show them otherwise, and they accept you. I mean, we went to our first munch up here, our first real munch that I went to up here, and people just out of the blue coming right on up, introducing themselves, talking to me like I had known them for years. It was really welcoming. It was an odd feeling for me, but it was awesome.
I'm going to say something really crazy. It's because they saw you on the Rev Mel Show.
It's quite possible. It is quite possible.
No. Hey,
Well,
Don Javier is in the chat room. He goes, "Yo, dude."
hey, Javier, how are you doing, man?
Oh, he's causing me problems all the time. We have so many people that are watching the show. Please come into the chat room so you can ask your questions and kind of, make fun of me and make jokes and all these things. So come into the chat room. And I'm on sugar, so we should have a really fun show tonight. So what advice would you give to someone that would move from a different state to a whole different state? I mean, it terrifies me. I mean, I give you a lot of kudos for what you've done, for what you and Sir Cindy has done, because it would be like pulling teeth with me.
It was definitely stepping out of my comfort zone. But, a couple of things happened when I first came up here. Before I came up, when Chindi was talking about having me come up to do the impact class, I had started talking to a woman up here, and she volunteered to host me while I was up here and be my bottom for the class. And two things happened when I came up here. I fell in love with Oregon, and I fell in love with the woman I'm going to spend the rest of my life with.
The cutie that I saw earlier?
Yep.
You slut. You terrible man.
So I had reason to move up here, and it has been the best decision I've ever made. I mean, not only just for emotional, but for spiritual growth, for growth along my path of mastery. It has just been all the way around the best decision I've ever made.
Well, so you have the play parties to go to, and you have the munches, and you've been teaching. Oh, Javier says come back to L.A.
No way, it's too hot down there.
They go no. And Desi's saying no. So does Fluffy, but is happy here.
Oh, yeah. That's the other thing, is I'm known as a fluffy service top.
What? What?
Yeah. I'm a dainty fucking flower, Mel. Didn't you know?
No fucking way. I mean, you're a sadistic motherfucker.
Yeah, but only on days that end in Y.
That's every day. So
The
how did you get that? How did you get that fluffy butt fluffy name?
actually happened when I was doing the hard impact class. I was doing some body kicking on Juju, my girl, and I was hitting her hard enough to slide the banking bench a couple of feet every time I hit her.
Juju,
So,
J-U-J-U?
yep, Juju.
She has watched the shows.
Quite probable. Did you?
Yes.
I watched them after
She's come into the chat room once or twice.
Come. You don't want to come on cam and say hi to Mel? Come say hi.
Juju!
Hi.
Yeah, because Juju, you've been in the chat room a couple times. Not a lot, but a couple times.
I think so, actually. Yeah. So, any for who?
Going like, or maybe no. There is another Juju in Hawaii.
Oh no, this is my Juju Brat 71.
Yeah, there's another Juju in Hawaii. Yep.
I don't know, with this wide world of internet, anybody can be anybody, so.
Javier's calling me a hooker in the chat room.
Oh, Javier's right.
I
You
wish I
don't
was.
charge him, Mel.
I would be a pretty broke hooker.
Well, yeah, if you keep asking for $5 million a pop.
Oh, God. You know, and Desi says, hi, Juju. See, they're talking. They're talking. So, yeah, and there's people that are watching. Please come in the chat room. Come and bug us. We love that. So you did an impact scene and you fell in love with it. And, you know, one of the questions that people have to ask is, like, is there jobs there? I mean, what is the economy like? I mean,
there are jobs here. There really are. You might have to do a little bit of digging around, but I moved up here in March 18th of 2013, and I was working by April 9th.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you're not going to get your dream job of choice right off the bat, but you are going to go to work. I mean, you're not even allowed to pump your own gas here. They pay people to pump your gas for you. So Oregon makes jobs for people, no matter what.
I wouldn't have to pump my own gas?
No, you wouldn't have. You don't have to get out of your car when it's raining or nothing. Just sit there and look pretty, and they pump your gas for you.
Okay, this is what I'll do. I will spend 3 months in Oregon, 3 months in Texas, 3 months in California. How many months are we at now? Is that 9? So I have 3 more. Then I'll have to New York.
Yeah, you could definitely do New York.
Yeah, I could do New York.
Well, I'll put it this way. Up here in the summertime, when it hits about 80 degrees, people are complaining about how hot it is up here.
80 degrees?
Yeah, at 75, 80 degrees, people are turning on air conditioning, and they're wanting to go in the river because it's just way too hot. And I'm out there in, like, my jacket, just kind of hanging out.
80 degrees and it's hot?
Yes.
Are they fucking nuts?
It does get hot. It hit 100 for like 4 days in a row last summer, and that was it. The rest of the time was 85, 90. Maybe.
Oh, my God. 100 degrees, global warming. I don't think so.
But I will tell you, when it gets cold, it gets fucking cold. It ain't no joke. It gets one morning we woke up and it was 4 degrees outside. 4. Just 4.
4 degrees?
4 degrees.
4.
4.
When you talk, your breath freezes.
You don't want to piss outside because it'll freeze to you.
So it's cold in the winter.
Oh, yeah.
Not every day.
Not every day, but it gets cold.
I mean, I don't think I'll go there.
But I'll tell you what, it does rain a lot, but because it rains a lot, everything is lush and green. I mean, I've been here over a year now, and whenever I drive around, I'm always telling my girl, we live in a beautiful state. I'm lucky to live here. This is great. And we live 40 minutes away from beautiful waterfalls that we can hike to. It's just gorgeous.
Well, Desi in the chat room says, in fact, I have to remind Oregon-born partner that he was to pump his own gas when we go north on to Washington. I think it's to Washington.
Yep, up into Vancouver.
Yeah. How far are you from that area? I mean, I
40
mean,
minutes.
pardon?
I'm 40 minutes from Vancouver.
Really?
Yeah. I'm 25 minutes away from Portland proper, and Vancouver is just on the other side of the river.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Vancouver, Washington, not Canada.
Wow. Wow, I didn't know that. Wow.
Mhm.
So,
Oh,
what's
and go ahead.
what's the difference between, let's get talking about our topic a little bit. What's the difference between protocol and from the community of Los Angeles into the community in Oregon?
There's quite a bit of difference. You know, LA, Orange County, San Diego, they're very much higher protocol all the time. It's always on. Up here, it's a much more relaxed community. It really is. It took me about 6 or 7 months to get the LA stick out of my ass and just kind of relax and go with the flow.
I mean, so I can go to a play party and say, "Come on, bitch, you're mine," and not get hit?
Not so much that, but not quite that loosely. But we do have a lot of what we call pickup play. You know, two people hang out at a party. They sometimes negotiate, and then they're often playing and having a scene, and that's really quite common. You know, down in the LA community, it doesn't really happen too often like that. You know, people talk and they get to know each other a little bit. You know, things like that. But up here, it's a lot more open and easygoing and relaxed. It took me a while to get used to it.
You mean they have more drive-bys?
Yeah, they have more drive-bys.
That's what I call it. I call it drive-bys. I haven't done a drive-by in a long time. So if I go up there, I mean, okay, you got to keep your eyes open for me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they have to be above the age of 45. They have to have a job.
Okay.
Has to be above 6'2", 6'3". Has to have hair. I gotta have hair because I don't know what to do with a bald man. I'm sorry, Javier. I don't know what to do with a bald man. I don't do hold their ears down. I don't know. And there are quite a few people that are watching. Come on into the chat room. You guys are not in the chat room. Bad people, get in the chat room. So
come on, get in the chat room with us.
So if you see someone that has a nice head of hair, it can't be long hippie. It's got to be nice and cut, and 6'7", 6'8", 6'4", 5", nice face. Hook them up with me. Make me.
6'7", Mel, you're 3.5 feet tall. What do you mean?
all of my submissives have been really tall, except for Darren. He was not really tall. He was kind of, but he made up for it in his shoulders. He was a hunk.
We have a lovely selection up here for you, Mel.
So you'll hook me up on someone to let me stay at their house, and then you hope that I will. Oh, Javier says make sure they're blind, toothless, and they call him Chewy.
I will, Javier. I'll make sure to look just for that. We actually have a hugely diverse community.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at one play party, you will see pretty much every genre of play there is, from puppy to ABDL. You got your hard impact players. Rope is predominant up here, though. Rope is, if you do good rope, you are all over the community. Everybody up here goes nuts over rope. I still don't do rope.
Oh, we have someone. Silent Type is coming to the chat room. Hello, Silent Type. Are you tall? Are you 6'4", 5"?
Oh. It's actually a good friend of mine. He's about, I'd say, 20 minutes south of where we live. He's a really good guy. He built some pretty cool furniture too.
Oh wow, furniture maker.
Mm-hmm.
So do you guys get plastic bags at the grocery stores?
Yes, of course.
Oh, we can't. We can't. It's outlawed now.
Really?
Yeah, and I think that we should take our plastic bags and tie them and make them into rope and floggers.
When did they outlaw plastic bags in LA?
I don't know, about 6 months ago, I think, and every time I go into the store, I give the checkout person a hard time and complain. I go, you know what? I hate this law. This is really ridiculous. Let's kill some more fucking trees. I'm sorry. I'm so bad. Desi's talking in the chat room. She says, electro, some fire, lots of suspension hooks, and blood play parties. So
Yeah.
you guys are enticing me to come there.
Oh,
Silent Type says, hey there. He says, or hey there, evening soda. So they're reaching out to you.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, she's, like I said, at every play party, you will see pretty much every form of play. You don't really see too much fire play, but that's just because there aren't that many places that are conducive to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I know at Kinkfest last year, I had the pleasure and privilege of throwing hooks and assisting with a suspension at Kinkfest, so that was a whole lot of fun. As far as protocol goes up here, honestly, it's manners. Please, thank you. You know, is it okay if I touch this? And that's pretty much it. It's the basics. It really is. Everybody's all about just having a good time and living together harmoniously and not worrying about whose dick is bigger than the other person's.
Well, in the chat room, they're talking about, Desi says, sensual chakra, energy, etc. Hey, Desi, I'm there. I believe in chakra play. I believe in energy play. I work with chakras all the time. Mm-hmm. So is that kind of where you're getting your spiritual twist with?
Yes. You know, I've always been an energy player, but even just the energy in day-to-day life out here, when you go to a party, it's so much more, I keep using the word open, but that's pretty much the only way to describe it. It's very free. It's very loving and symbiotic and reciprocated back and forth. It's nice. It's really nice. You don't really see cliques up here. Everybody just hangs out and talks to everybody.
But we have so many clicks, it's ridiculous. We have so many clicks that we have to color them. Click, click, a blue click here, a blue
No, come on now. LA's got a lot of really good people that I miss. I mean, I miss you for sure. I mean, I haven't seen Orpheus in forever, or Mistress Melissa.
Well, you know who's in the chat room is Entropy.
How goes it, Entropy? I haven't seen you in forever either, man.
I know I've got to get him in on the show. I told him we could do it via cam, and he wants to come in and bug me, you know. And Javier is calling me a slut in the chat room, so you know he's up to no good.
Well, you know, if we were on the old system, you'd be sitting there with your boobs out by now.
No.
Hey, if you wanted me to pull my cock out, that was going to be the price, your boobs.
Oh. Well, you know what? I did that on K-Sex because the host, Tony Batman, he said I could spank him. I could give him, I think, 20 whacks, and then I would show my boobs. And what I did, he didn't see what I brought in with me. I brought this huge paddle about this big with holes in it. So I gave him 20 smacks on it, and the motherfucker took it. And I had to show my boobs, so what I had was the two porn stars. I had them hold my boobs like this, and they covered the nipples. And we have more people that are coming and watching the show. Come in the chat room. I can see the numbers. Get your butts in here. Don't be our stalkers. Come and ask Soda some questions. If you're wondering how you get to the chat room, because you may be on FetLife, and you're going, but there's no chat room here, go to TSRnetwork.com. Go to watch live shows in there and just come into the chat room. Just click on and come on in. Hello, Entropy. He goes, hey, Soda.
How you doing, man?
I got to get him on the show. So.
Yes, you do.
So what else is there difference between the Los Angeles community and Oregon? Are we talking about generally Oregon in all the different places in Oregon, or just in the community that you're at there? And I know you probably have been around in different communities.
I've been under the Eugene community and pretty much just up in the Portland area. That's the extent of my travels up here so far. I am hoping to make it up to the Seattle, Washington area and go play up there real soon. But
you gonna see Carrie when you go up there?
Yep, sure am. So, and I've got another friend of mine up there by the name of Renegade that I want to go hang out with too.
Oh, that's a great name, isn't it?
Oh yeah, he's another fluffy service top, just like I am.
Oh, that's a joke. That's a joke, right?
Actually, you know what? He's got a thing that they're called Team Fluffy.
No.
He's a very heavy blood player. He likes to do things like make actual barbed wire floggers.
Oh, so
He,
you're pulling my leg.
of course I am, Mel.
You're not a fluffer. I'm not
No.
even a fluffer.
Like I said, just the biggest difference is, at all the play parties down there, everybody shows up dressed to the nines. Leathers are shined. The girls are in the corsets and 6-inch heels. And it's a lot of pomp and circumstance, which is really great. I mean, it's beautiful to watch and to be part of. Up here, for the most part, it's be comfortable. Be clean and be comfortable. Show up in jeans and a t-shirt if that's how you want to play. It's all well and good. And that's how everything pretty much flows up here. It's really organic. It's relaxing. It really is.
We have a new person in the chat room, Tommy. Welcome to the chat room. And they're talking. People are talking. Desi says, Lizzie Subby is getting LAX got from her top 20 wax. And they go, barbed wire players are nice to watch.
Oh yeah, I mean we've got some really heavy hitters up in here in the Washington, Oregon area.
What about buying toys? I mean, do you have toy makers? Do you have people that make paddles and that make floggers and stuff like this? Because in LA, everybody's making something. That's why I want to get those plastic bags and I want to make floggers out of them and put, big tacks on the bottom of them, so when you flog them, it will tear the skin apart. I mean.
Let's see. There's Red Cheeks Toys, which is owned by a good friend of mine by the name of Dungeon Master Mark, who he also hosts a once-a-month play party, and he's the host of the Kink Night. Well, that's right. He is actually hosting 3 parties monthly now. There's Red Cheeks Toys up here. There's Wyan Floggers. She makes phenomenal floggers. There's Painful Pleasures up here. Who else is up? Oh, KinkyMedical.net is up here.
Oh, really? They moved? Were they always up there?
Yep.
Oh, wow. I didn't know they were always up there. Listen, more people. Kelvin is in the chat room. Hello, welcome, Kelvin. Desi says the last Kink Fest here was a couple that played with balloons. In fact, one person was given a body harness of balloons. I love balloons.
Mm-hmm.
Balloons and bubble wrap.
Oh, yeah.
When you can. I love doing, like a single tail or paddles on bubble wrap. Darren is in the chat room. Welcome. There are people that are coming in the chat room. It's getting pretty busy in here, which is great. I don't think they're going to let you go.
That's okay. I have a little button over here that says off. Is the color getting messed up on my screen here? Because the sun's starting to go down. Do we need more light?
There's a little bit more light. We could have maybe your girl can just put a lamp in front of the computer.
Yep.
Yeah. Guest 959 says my favorite fluffy service top is soda, sir. Nick is in the chat room. Yeah, they're really starting. I think they're going to keep us in here for a while. I don't think they're going to let us go for an hour because we only do an hour show now.
Yeah, well, last time I was on, we were supposed to do an hour show, and 3 hours later.
Man, we must be obsessed with each other.
The biggest difference is up here is it's not about pomp and circumstance. It's not about a status quo. It's a very non-superficial community up here. It's more about who and what you are as a person, as a human being, as opposed to who and what you are as a title.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
Yeah.
I was out of the scene for almost 3 years. I was still teaching at the Lair, but I was really kind of not going to the play parties. So I disappeared for a little while, after I lost the studio. And when I came back to the studio, when I came back to the lifestyle, I changed. I changed a lot. And certain things were not that important to me anymore. I kind of liked it that there was a lot of new people that did not know who I was. It was kind of nice to sit in a room and not 50 million people were saying, oh, that's Rev Mel. It was really nice. And it was really nice going to Liberty, Texas, going to Liberty Manor, and nobody knew me. I had such a wonderful time there, and the people were I mean, there is such a huge community all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
So many different places. We're learning. I mean, now that we have this, we're interviewing you, and we're going to be, interviewing Sir Cindy again, and, always interviewing people from all over the place. Now we have places to go. Now we know what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be alone and go into an area and say, well, I can't move there because there's no kink community. And they're watching. They says, you've got a TSR show, Javier. Yes, he did. He's coming back. Javier says, Rev Mel does not want me. Bullshit. You keep telling me later. You get your butt over here. Tommy says, so is your cock? I don't know. I think what it is, every time that Javier makes fun of me, I think Tommy wants to protect me. Javier is my friend. He's the only one that can get away with calling me names. Tommy says she likes young men around her home. No? Yeah, how did he know that?
Oh, Mel, because it's a total secret that you're a cougar.
No, I'm not a cougar. No, Soda.
Just saying.
I'm a snow leopard. I live longer than a cougar.
Oh,
My
there you
coat
go.
is worth a hell of a lot more money. I can be alone, and I don't need 50 million people around me. I am a snow leopard. I am way better than a cougar.
I would agree. Going to what you were saying on when you went to Liberty and how it was nice not to be known everywhere you went.
Mm-hmm.
That was the same thing I said when I first came up here. Go to a play party and can just hang out. It was nice. It really, really was.
Yeah, I went up to EMSO for the awards, and very few people knew me, and it was fucking awesome. I mean, you know how it is in LA.
Yeah.
You know how it is, if you came back to LA for a visit, you know exactly what would happen. You couldn't walk into the Bordello without people going, oh my God, Soda's here, and encircling you. You know that.
Yeah. I do need to come back and visit. There's a few people that I miss and want to see. So, but I'll probably do it probably towards the end of next. Well, I'm starting school in the fall, so probably the beginning of my.
What are you taking up?
I'm going to get my degree in drug and alcohol counseling.
Oh wow, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, Tommy says he knows me.
Ooh, you got a stalker.
No. No.
Oh, you're totally stalk-worthy.
No. I'm a bitch. Don't talk to me till I have my coffee.
That's just life.
Is that life?
Yes.
So, what else do you do? Oh, Tommy says, I have missed the annual BDSM Mel's presented show. Yeah, we're back. We're running again. We've had over 90,000 people watch the show since we relaunched.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. We have, we're really starting to build up the viewership again because we're getting out of just, broadcasting LA people. We're going all over the country, and we're hitting from people from all over the place, and we're building up quite a reputation, and which is great. And we only have 2 shows at the moment. We're trying to get. No, Tommy, I have not forgotten you. He's asking me in the chat room, and what we're doing is Javier will be coming back. We're waiting for him to make a decision. He's got some business things he's attending to, and yeah, I'm looking to see who else has come in the chat room. I like our new chat room. Did you see our new site?
Yeah, actually, I went and checked it out.
It's
It
simple.
looks good.
It's simple.
Yeah, it's not as confusing as it used to be.
You know what? With FetLife, the way that FetLife has, everything is at FetLife, it's useless to have a social media site. And Count Boogie told me many years ago I should just concentrate on the show, forget about having a social media site. And you know what? He was really, really right. Tommy says, I think she has forgotten me. No, Tommy, you're in London. Am I correct? Or England? Am I correct? So, Tommy's talking in the chat room. See, I can carry on 2 different conversations when I have sugar.
You can carry on 5 or 6 when you have sugar.
So you're going back to school, and how long is that going to take you?
About 2.5 years.
Cool. And is she still flirting with switching?
What?
What?
Who?
No. 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 Did that once. Don't remind me. I'm blushing. No, Soda, I'm not going to switch to you.
Damn it.
No. I don't know.
But I'm a fluffy service top. I'm a sensual sadist.
I'll tell you, Desi talked about, balloons. I wouldn't mind having balloons put on me and popped with the needle. That would be hysterical.
Could the needle be a single tail?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sweet. We have negotiated. Consent is given.
Watch this. I'm going to put this out there. So you and Sir Cindy put together enough money to give me a round-trip ticket, and I will tell you, if you do that, and we're talking anywhere from now to 5 years. We're not talking about tomorrow. You just say, okay, we got a ticket for you. We're ordering it now. When can you come? BB9 is in the chat room. Welcome. And I will come up there, and I will let you put balloons up. But I can't be in the nude. No. And
You won't be nude. You'll have balloons on you.
I have balloons on me. And you can use a single tail. And Tommy wants to know what's Darling Nikki up to. I don't have a clue. So, yeah, he's come a long way. They go, lies. Everyone switches for him.
Darling Nikki's actually doing well. I just spoke with her 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. She's back in L.A.?
Yep, she's doing well.
Yeah, good. Yeah, she called me one night about 2:30 in the morning. Like, hello? Entropy says that you need to pop the balloons with the bullwhip. They concur with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they concur. So
we actually have quite a few really talented single tail artists up here.
Do you like using a single tail?
Oh yeah, I love my single tail.
Do you?
Oh yeah. I was actually gifted one at last year's Kink Fest.
Well, I gave mine away.
Why?
It was Christmas several years ago when I was still in the apartment before I had my studio, the big studio, and a friend of mine was softening it up for me, and he kept playing with it and kept playing with it. He had it for months and months, and it was soft, and he was working so hard on it, and then I asked him to bring it back. It was a Christmas party, and I wrapped it up, and I gave it to him for Christmas.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, so. All
right.
Darren wants to know, is Nikki still going by Nikki, the name?
Yes.
Yeah.
As far as I know, absolutely.
Oh, God. Entropy wants me to put a balloon in my mouth and have you take it, single tail, out of a balloon on my mouth. I don't think so, Entropy.
Why not?
Don't think. He wants me to put a balloon in my mouth.
Yeah.
Sticking out, and then you hit it with a single tail.
Sure.
No!
Why not?
Next.
I promise I'll only hit you once.
So how big is your cock?
Half the size of my thumb.
You hang to the left or hang to the right?
Straight up the middle, baby.
Big balls or little balls?
Medium size.
Straight or crooked?
Actually, I got a G-spot curve, if you must know.
Are you a shower or a grower?
Depends on the weather.
Well, that's the end. That's the end of the show. They go, is Mel in LA? Yes, I am in Los Angeles. I'm still in Los Angeles. But our guest is in Oregon. And what was the name of the city again?
I'm in a little town called Woodburn.
I am so excited to hear that there's a huge community there.
Oh, yeah. It's massive. And the thing is there's really no segregation. I mean, like I said, at the play parties, you will see transgenders, and you will see everything at one place at the same time, just kind of hanging out and grooving along. It's really awesome to watch and be a part of.
Wow. I think that's absolutely amazing. I mean, we think that we're such elitists here in Los Angeles. I hate to say that. You know, I love my Los Angeles peeps. But Tommy says Mel's still obsessed about cock size, despite the tiny, my tiny vagina. That's what they're saying in the chat room. Tommy knows me well.
There you go.
You have to have some obsessions on something.
Yes, this is true.
It's my stick, you know.
Yeah, well, you've been obsessed with seeing my cock for 7 years now, Mel. Yes, and you still haven't seen it.
Have you seen my vagina? My vagina?
No.
My whatever it is?
No, I have not. Not yet. But I'm sure I will at one point in time.
Oh, Javier says I have an echo in my VG. Oh God, isn't this too much fun?
Always.
They're going, I have no experience with Mel's vagina. You know, Tommy, lately I haven't had very much experience with my vagina either. You know, I go through those periods. You know that. So do you know me well? You know I go without sex for like 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah.
And then I find some young person that smells good, and then it's all over.
Snow leopard.
Oh, so are they into a lot of poly in Oregon?
Well, the Pacific Northwest is the swinger capital of the United States. So yes, poly runs rampant up here. And when I first came up here,
rampant dog.
Oh, that's rabid. When I first came up here, I was talking to Juju about this. You know, back down in Southern California, it's the poly people that usually catch shit for being poly or being open or being swingers.
Mm-hmm.
Up here, it's the monogamous people that catch shit for being monogamous.
Oh, then I would catch shit all the time.
It's not that bad. It really isn't. For the most part, like I said, people really don't care as long as you're a good person. Do what you're going to do as long as you're a good person and everything's on the up and up. People really don't care what you're into.
Are you poly?
Yes, I am.
Do you have more than one?
No, not at this time.
Because she's cute.
Oh, she's absolutely beautiful.
And Darren in the chat room says poly isn't swinging. Well, yeah, I agree with that. It's not swinging.
Well, it depends on what type of poly you're talking about. You can be talking about polyamorous or polysexual. Polysexual is also considered swinging because you're actually not in a relationship. You just like to fuck multiple people.
So are you polyamorous or polysexual?
Yes.
Both?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I'm ready to try my hand at poly, but I have to find one first. So you got to look for me, and if you want me in Oregon, you got to look for me.
I will look for you. And you know, the one thing I can say about poly, it is not fucking easy at all. I've made a really good time of fucking it up left and right because it's just back home. It's very I'm sir, you're sub. This is how it is. Up here, it's not quite so much like that. There's still the power exchange, and of course, there's still respect amongst, you know, and the way it should be.
Mm-hmm.
But because of the poly nature of things, there's a lot more communications and back and forth that has to happen. And me growing up in a community that wasn't quite used to that, it's taken me a bit to acclimate. I'm getting pretty good at it, though.
Did it take you to? Oh, Entropy said he's fluid in that way, kind of polysaturated. And they're going mono. It's mono garnish is a thing too. What's mono garnish or garnish? Mono garnish? I don't know. I'm gonna have to go and write that down.
Monogamish.
No idea.
Monogamous? That means I don't understand.
No idea.
It says, Nick says, I'm out. Looking good, Soda. Glad things are working out. Awesome for you in Oregon. Yes, yes. And don't we miss him? Unsaturated.
Later.
Our chat room's going. They're talking about polyester, E-S-T-H-E-R. What is that?
That's clothing.
Polyester.
Really, Mel? That one got by you?
Oh,
More sugar.
Fuck. I need more drugs. I don't do drugs. I do candy. Chocolate.
Yeah. There you go.
I was going to have some coffee, but I thought it would be too much for you.
You know, there's also a lot of really talented photographers up here.
Uh-huh. Oh, is there?
Oh, yes. Really, really talented photographers up here.
Oh, my God. I'm sorry. The chat room's going nuts. They go, polyamorous, girls from India.
Did that come from Entropy?
That was from Javier.
Oh, God.
And they're laughing.
Polyamorous. That's fucking hilarious.
Oh my God. It should be a porn movie. They could do this. Sorry. Oh my fuck. My stomach hurts. We're not making any sense in this show, are we?
No, we're not.
Darren says you need some scotch. Yeah, I do. I need some scotch.
Yeah.
I don't have any.
Yes. You know what? I could use a nice single malt scotch right about now. That would be nice.
Doesn't that sound good?
Yep.
A Glenlivet or a Glenfiddich or a Macallan. Oh yeah.
Macallan's 12.
Oh God, that would be absolutely wonderful to have.
Here's another tidbit for you that'll tempt you to come up here, Mel.
What?
We don't have sales tax.
Oh.
Nope. Not at all. If something is 99 cents, it is 99 cents, period.
Well, and it didn't. Is it Oregon that said no to Obamacare?
No, we have Obamacare.
What state said no to Obamacare?
I have no idea. I don't know anything about politics, so I keep my mouth shut about them.
Javier says Glenn fetish, like a fetish.
Really? Glenfiddich? No.
No, he's talking about fetish. Like
yeah, no.
They're saying that I like Easter on my face. Is that spunk, Tommy? I don't like spunk on my face.
I was about to say, that's what it sounds like.
Don't get it near my eyes.
Well, keep your glasses on. Cum shields.
You know my glasses, don't you? You know what you do.
Yes, I know.
Ready, everybody?
They're for that hot librarian look.
I was looking pretty piss poor on the screen, and I was looking really, really tired. So I stuck a pair of these on, and all of a sudden, I looked awake. Now they're talking about polyester again. They're continuing the joke in the chat room. There's quite a few people in the chat room, which is awesome, and there's quite a few people that are watching the show. I think people have missed you.
I miss a lot of people down there, that's for sure. I do need to come back to visit, and don't worry, I will let people know when I'm coming out, and I will do my best to see everybody. I do need to go hit the lair and see Kane and Dragon and those guys, because I haven't seen them in forever either.
Well, if you come on Conquest at the Lair de Sade, you have to wear a suit and tie.
I own one.
Yeah, no longer leather on Conquest. It's a suit and tie. The whole energy is like woo. It's almost like going into the 50 Shades of Grey book.
Oh, God.
What?
Everybody's in suit, tie, and cocktail dresses, dressed to the nines.
Yeah.
That's a good thing, though.
Yeah, it's elegant. It's a wonderful feeling, and you know, it's really nice to be able to sit with men that are in suits and ties and you know, absolutely amazing shoes and shaven and you know, smoking cigars and just leaning back and drinking a scotch and just having awesome conversation, seeing great play, and it's just really, really, really nice. Javier says, "That is right, baby." So.
Well, I think you should come up here and at least come get a taste of our community, Mel. Javier, you should come up here too. I think you'd really enjoy it, man. I know Entropy would love it.
Well, maybe we should caravan. All of us should just get in, just rent a huge camper, and all of us just caravan up there.
There you go. Oh, yeah. Hey, Entropy, I also live maybe a mile away from a drag strip. Get the car up here and let's go run it.
Entropy's not making a comment. He says, I missed a few people, but I've adjusted my aim and fire again. I think we're talking about Punk? I'm not sure. You know, there's a little bit of a delay. They see us probably about 3 or 4 seconds later. So sometimes there's a little delay in when we're talking. I don't know if they actually see us. I think it's like a couple seconds delay. So that's the reason why we're always like, you know, a little bit behind, because we're moving faster, and there's quite a few people that are watching the show. There are lots of people that are watching the show. If you are not in the chat room, you are missing half of the fun. The things that people are typing in the chat room is absolutely crazy. Right?
Always is crazy.
But Soda, if you would have known what Oregon was like, would you have moved out there sooner?
No. I think the universe had me where I needed to be at that time. So I think I moved out here right when I was supposed to. Because everything just kind of fell into place. I made the decision to move out here, and within 3 weeks I had the means, the transportation, and everything set to go. It just kind of fell together. So
fabulous. Well, Entropy has answered the question. He goes in with these marks, you know, drag strips, and then Entropy says, "Oh, I was checking out a place when I was considering moving to Portland." So
you know, and even the cost of living up here is cheaper. I have a big 3-bedroom house with a humongous backyard and a big front yard for $900 a month.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Right.
So I could get a 3-bedroom house, get 2 roommates, because then I could be there for 3 months out of the year, and it could basically pay for my place.
Pretty much.
Wow.
Depending on where you live. I mean, if you're over in Portland proper, it's a little spendy there, absolutely. But like I said, I'm 25 minutes away from Portland. So I'm pretty much in between Portland and Salem, which are the 2 big cities. And it works really well.
That's nothing, because you know we always go up to Ventura. I just taught 2 weeks ago in Ventura. I mean, you know, and go down to Orange County. That's 25 miles away from where I'm at. You know, that's nothing.
Yeah, and in traffic it'll take you 2 hours to get there.
Tommy wants to know, what is this Oregon place? It's Oregon. Not Oregon, Oregon.
Tommy, Oregon is the state right above California.
It's a beautiful state. I mean, you guys have your coast is absolutely amazing.
It is gorgeous, but the beach water is fucking cold.
Well, it gets to 4 degrees in the wintertime.
Yeah, but even in the summertime, the beach doesn't get above 40 degrees.
Well, because it only gets 80 degrees 3 days out of the year.
Right?
Oh, but I'm not complaining. I think that, you know, I mean, as long as you don't get a lot of snow, you know, and if it only gets, you know, like 4 degrees, maybe like a month out of the whole year, to me that's perfect.
Oh, yeah, it's gorgeous. It does rain a lot during the winter and spring, but it keeps everything beautiful. It's well worth it. And people up here actually know how to drive in the rain.
I know they don't in Los Angeles.
Oh, and that's the other thing you'd have to get used to up here is the speed limit's between 55 and 65, and that's it.
What?
Yeah, the speed limit on the freeway,
yep.
The fastest you can go is 65.
Is it Sunday drivers?
Pretty much.
So I would be getting a ticket all the time?
Yeah, you could. I just use the cruise control and hang out.
Yeah, we're always in a hurry, and I don't know why we're in the hurry because we go 3 miles up and we're in bumper-to-bumper traffic.
Yep, but you're in a hurry to get there.
We're in a hurry to get in the. Do you find that things have, you kind of like life has slowed down and it's kind of easy. It's like being in Europe where you can actually take naps and live a slower life.
Yes, very much so. Very, very much so.
So you have a spare bedroom that I can come and sleep on your spare bed. So when I come up and visit once in a blue moon.
Actually, yes, I do. If not, you can always sleep in our dungeon.
Ooh, you have a dungeon?
Yes.
So one of your bedrooms or your basement?
No, the basement is actually not big enough for a dungeon, but it's one of the, well, it's like a bedroom, except it's about twice the size of a normal bedroom. It's pretty big.
Oh, you should have went in there and did a show there, inside.
It's in the process of being built and having stuff put in it, so it's not really ready for that yet.
Do a lot of people have home dungeons in Oregon?
Not so much. I mean, there are a few, but not that many. You know, but like I said, we have Valhalla House. We have, let's see, there's Mead Hall. There's the Velvet Robe.
Barn.
There's the Barn. There's Club Sesso. I mean, there's 5 or 6 places to play that are all within 30 minutes of each other.
Oh, that's not bad. I mean, you guys, here I brag about Los Angeles, but I mean, we have so many clubs, but you guys have just as many clubs, in the Portland area.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I should be spanked for lying.
Yes, you should. It's a very huge community. It really is.
Tommy in the chat room says Mel likes it up the bumper. I don't think so. They're bad. They go and Darren says Dungeon Slumber Party. Yeah, we should get a whole bunch of Los Angeles peeps. We should rent a big one of those campers. Party hardy all the way up there. Party when we're there. Go to as many dungeon parties that we can possibly go to, and then get in the camper and go home.
You should actually come up for Kinkfest next year.
Oh, when is Kinkfest?
It's around about the end of March, beginning of April-ish.
Well, remind me, and I'll look for a good price and tickets, and I'll fly myself up there. And I was teasing when I told you guys had to pay my ticket. Yes. You know that. You know that.
Yes, but and Juju says you can still stay with us, so you're good to go there.
Can I sleep in between you two?
Only if you're the little spin.
Oh.
The little spin?
The little
how
spin.
tall are you?
She is 5'3.5". Somewhere there.
I think we're both about the same. Well, I think I think I lie about my height.
So are we saying Soda's going to be the little spoon?
Hey.
He'll be the meat between the white bread.
All right.
You know what? I've slept between 2 women before. That shit ain't happening. It's too damn hot. It sounds great in theory and whatnot, but it's too damn hot.
Yeah, and I'm not very good sleeping with people. That's why I don't ever get in relationships, because I snore and I'm embarrassed, and then I drool, and then I wake up in the morning and my eyes are puffy and I look really bad. My hair is like this.
That's a hot look for you, Mel.
Oh, thank you. So yeah, I'm really excited. I mean, it's really amazing to interview people from all over the place because we get to learn so much about other people's communities. Because we think that we're so blessed in our own private little communities, and it's nice to know that there are so many different options that you can do, and places to go. I mean, I think I'm really excited. Then I get to see you and Sir Cindy. I always say it wrong. And Maya, and it would be great to be able to see everybody and to hang out. And he did an amazing thing when he was here in Los Angeles. Absolutely an amazing thing. I was at Bardello, and he was there, and he has a family, a San Diego family, huge, poly family, and he had everybody stand there, in a line, and went and introduced me to everyone, and said, this is Rev Mel, you need to know her, you need to meet her. And he goes, it was such an honor to introduce you to my family. And that was he paid me such a compliment. It touched my heart,
Yeah, he's doing really well up here, so. I haven't seen him in, 3 months or so? He was just over at the house, but he lives about 2 hours south from me.
Wow. Yeah, he's awesome. Desi in the chat room says, don't feel bad, Mel. One of my BFs or boyfriends scared bears and chainsaws away with his snores. Bears?
Oh, yeah, we do have bears.
Bears?
Yeah, we have bears and mountain lions and all kinds of stuff out here. Yeah.
Los Angeles.
Oh, we don't have bears in town. We'll get the occasional mountain lion, but no, not really bears in town. But if you go
mountain lion in town?
Yeah.
Not our town.
Dude, 15 minutes south from here.
Yeah.
Well, it's really amazing because when I went to Texas, they had mosquitoes that was as big as huge horseflies. Their horseflies were as big as hornets. And then I got to see a wood snake, and the wood snake it was probably about that thick. It was like a cack. Oh, it was like a big cack. It was huge, and it was colorful. And it was a good thing that there was people around me that understood that it was a wood snake and that it didn't bite or would not go near me. And so I looked at it and I go, yeah, that's a pretty snake. City girls, you can't take. Wait. Desi says we even have local boa species.
We might. I wouldn't be surprised.
Desi, I think you and I are going to meet.
Oh, you two get along really well.
Yeah, and she's talking about some really big mosquitoes. So Desi, I know you're going to be there just to scare me. You're going to look forward. Say, is Rev Mel coming out? I just want to scare her.
I'll make sure to remind her.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I think we're just having too much fun here. We're not really talking about anything BDSM. So what have you learned from the first moment from when you walked into BDSM to now?
Wow, Mel, you're asking me to go back over 2 decades.
I know.
What have I learned? The most important thing that I've learned is who I am, and that it's okay to be me and actually love that person. That's the most important thing I've learned.
That's important. Sometimes it's a rough journey, And I know that there was a lot of things that you were doing here in Los Angeles. I think you opened up a club down in South Orange County.
We did Subspace for one night. Mm-hmm. It was supposed to be an ongoing thing, but the owner of the venue neglected to tell us that after we paid for everything, the house got foreclosed on.
Oh, wow. Was he related to the guy that I rented the studio from?
No idea, but that's what ended that. Up here, I was hosting a once-a-month play party as well, but due to the expense of the place, the owner just wasn't pulling the numbers he needed to keep it open, so he decided to relocate. And once he finds himself another location, we'll be bringing that party back up as well.
Mr. Cellophane has come into the chat room. Welcome. Welcome into the chat room. I don't know if he's an Oregon person or Los Angeles or New York or whatever, but welcome to the chat room. Mr. Cellophane says, you really don't have to worry about mountain lions in Portland proper or the areas surrounding. I guess he's in Oregon. Are you tall, Mr. Cellophane?
No, you just have to worry about it in the smaller cities. There was one in Salem not too long ago. But
Salem's on the other side of the coast.
No. Salem, Oregon?
It's in
20 minutes
Sorry, I had to. It's the sugar. It's the sugars. So, any regrets that you have?
Any regrets that I have? I have a few. I have a few, but for most of them, I've already made amends to the people that I had regrets with. So I've moved on from a lot of that stuff.
So what would you tell someone that was brand new that's coming into the lifestyle? What advice would you give them?
Take it slow. Learn yourself. Be honest with yourself and with those around you. But take it slow and educate yourself. Just don't go diving headfirst in. I mean, how many times have we seen somebody come in and they identify as a bottom or a sub, and they're in the scene or in the community for 3 or 4 months before they're burnt out and they've been burned and they're done and they're bad experiences. And from what I see, in my humble opinion, it's just not knowing. They don't know what red flags to look for. They don't know how to negotiate. They don't know how to stand up and speak up for themselves. Because even though they might identify on the right-hand side of the slash, at the end of the day, they're still a human being with thoughts and feelings and emotions, and they're all very valid and need to be respected, no matter what. For those that are on the left side of the slash, step out of your own way and don't let your ego rule your actions.
Oh, yes, it's the egos. The egos that get humongous, inflated. But normally that happens between 3 and 6 years, and then all of a sudden people realize that it doesn't pay to have a huge ego.
You know, even somebody who's been into the lifestyle for 20, 30 years, that ego will still pop its head up every now and again.
Oh, I've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen it.
I'm guilty of it.
Yeah, I've been knocked down a few pegs, and I've learned a lot. By losing the studio was a huge lesson for me. It was I'll tell you something, when you're living out of a suitcase for 3.5 years and you have nothing and you think about what you've lost, and then you realize that you are in a better place and you're only living out of your suitcase because life changes and you have to change with it. And you have to really find that true, transparent piece of who you are. Authentic, being authentic. I mean, I think this is what I'm getting from you. I'm getting from you, Soda Sir, is that you have finally found your authentic self.
I've finally embraced my authentic self. Mm-hmm. Is what I did. I dropped the ego, took the red streak out of my hair, and I'm just me, man. That's it. The only reason why my girl has my collar around her neck, besides the fact that she earned it, is that she really wants it there. Because there's a difference, and from what I've learned, and this, again, just my opinion, between living the fantasy and living the reality. Like I said before, at the end of every day, she is still a human being. She has all the same rights I do. She has her own feelings. She has her own thoughts. She's highly intelligent, and I have to respect that. The only reason why I have power is because she willingly gives it to me. Mm-hmm. And I have to work to keep it there.
Boy,
that's the log of it.
Have you learned this all from the time that you've learned? I mean, from when you left Los Angeles to your time, or were you on that process? Were you on that learning curve already?
I was on that path before I left. Before I moved up here from San Diego, I had some wonderful people in my life that were mentoring me and giving me skills beyond where I was. At that time, I wasn't ready to accept it and embrace it. I still had the attitude.
Yeah.
That's what killed it for me. Granted, I've got over 2 decades in this lifestyle, and I can throw a flogger, supposedly. People say I'm okay with it. And I can do this and I can do that. But until I actually accepted my authentic self, it was just what I did, not who I was.
Yeah, it's really important to embrace your authentic self and to get rid of the ego and get rid of the false image of who we think we are. Listen, in the chat room, Mr. Cellophane says, another tip I've encountered with people entering the scene is to let go of all the I can't say that word, preconceptions you may have about kink, BDSM, and all those who practice it, because you really can't know who they are as a person. It's really important that we get to know each other as a person. And I want to make a comment. Javier, I've never had sex with a goat. I'm sorry.
Javi, I told you it was a poodle, not a goat.
Never. Not consensual. Not consensual. The animals can't do. It's called safe, sane, and consensual for a reason. You know, I have my limits. You know.
I'm a firm believer of risk-aware consensual kink. You might get bit by a dog, so you might want to muzzle it.
Oh, this is too much. They're talking in the chat room, and they're laughing. You know, I think it's finally hitting them. You know, we get to see everything that you guys. Well, I get to see what you guys write in the chat room. I've limited. You know, I dommed Soda and said, you don't have to go in the chat room. I'll make sure that you get there, and you can always check back and look at the chat room because it stays up there. So yeah. It says, is there custom tax on that entropy? I think they're talking about, no, we have to import from Canada. I don't know what they're talking about. I have not a clue. I don't know. They're having their own private conversations. Tommy is in Europe. Entropy is in Los Angeles. And you are in Oregon. And we have people from all over the country watching. Tommy wants to know if we get fog in LA. We do get some fog, but not a lot. And Soda, has the rain affected your sinuses? Because they affect mine really badly. No?
Nope, not at all.
No? Do Oregon women have beautiful skin because there's so much moisture in the air?
Well, yes, they do, actually. And there is a lot of moisture in the air, but that tends to dry your skin out a whole lot faster, believe it or not.
Huh?
Yeah. It's really, really odd. When it rains, I have to put more lotion on my skin than when it's hot.
Tommy doesn't understand that I'm pronouncing Oregon wrong. Oregon.
Oh, that's okay. People up here in Oregon pronounce so many things incorrectly, it's not even funny.
Well, I do it that way because of was it Al Pacino in that movie about you know, I'm here with I'm protecting my friend's son from Oregon. It's just too much for me. Just too much, the stuff that comes out of my head. You know, Tommy, maybe there's a fog in my head.
It's quite probable.
Quite proud. I mean, my shows get. You know, when I first started, Soda, when I first started back, we relaunched the shows. I was so serious. You know, I didn't ask how big your cock was. I didn't ask if you hang to the left or hang to the right. I didn't ask if you took it up the ass. I did not ask those questions. I was going to keep it clean, only education, but you know what? Just can't do that.
Yeah, that gets boring. You don't want to do that.
Yep. Master Cellophane was born in San Francisco, so now he lives in Portland, Oregon. And he says, I've never considered there to be actually fog here.
I've seen little patches of it here and there. It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's really not bad at all.
So what, have you acquired some new toys since you've been there that you would like to talk about? I mean, what is your toy bag like?
Let's see. No, I'm not going to grab
How big is your toy bag?
At last count, I had 64 or 65 different implements, not counting my needle and scalpel kit. So
wow.
I've got quite a few.
Wow. And Tommy says, I'm not European, I'm English. So sorry.
Oh, yeah, big difference.
Wow!
Now you know Tommy boobs.
And Desi says, I miss the Texas thunderstorms. Well, you can go to Liberty Manor in Texas, Desi, and it's 30 miles out of Houston. And
I'm going to have to check that out. That sounds interesting.
You can go camping there, and they're going to have big events. And I just, it's, let's say you want to go away for the weekend, but camping. Do you ever do camping out in the wilderness in Oregon? See, I said it right, Oregon.
Well, let's see. In a couple weeks here, we have an event coming up that's called Summer Spank. That's a 3 or 4 day all camping kink event.
Ooh.
Yeah, and then we have another place that's called Twisted Cedar Estates, which is just about by Mount Hood, maybe 45 minutes an hour from me. That's a bed and breakfast way out in the woods. That's all kink.
Wow.
So owned by Mistress Stephanie, who's a sweetheart of a person.
So if you were to say how many people are basically in the community, in the area, in numbers, what would you say roughly? I'm not going to hold you to that.
Oh,
rough
God.
Estimate of how many people actually are in the community.
Well, I know PLA themselves, we have, what was it?
Over 3,000.
Yeah, we have over 3,000 members just in the Portland Leather Alliance themselves. And so I'd probably roughly estimate somewhere in the area of 5,000 or 6,000 community members here.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
There's a lot. It's not uncommon to go walking around a store, and I think, well, actually, I was working at a call center for a little bit, and I went outside on a break to have a cigarette, and I counted 6 or 7 eternity collars on different girls. Wow. Right? I mean, at work, brazenly displayed in the open. Another girl had a kitty collar with a bell on it. It's a pretty saturated community. Lots of education as well, too, up here. Lots of education.
Education is important. You have to excuse me. Javier is just, he goes, we have a drought. We need to make Rev Mel squirt.
Hey, I can do that.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome.
I'm so glad you're a giver.
I'm more than happy to help you out, Mel. I'm a fluffy service top, remember?
Oh, that's crazy. So if you're watching the show, we're still on the air. We're only supposed to be on the air for an hour, but we've got an hour and a half so far. So we're not going to do a 7-hour marathon. Oh, God. No. Remember that? 7 hours? That's crazy. But I want to ask the chat room something. I've switched over to a lav mic on my chest. Does it sound better? Just let me know how the audio and the video is, because I never know from here. I can only see what I'm seeing. So they go Scotland. They're having their own conversation in there.
That happens.
Tommy is stirring up the pot. Tommy loves to stir up pot. So. But yeah, I like the new look of TSR Network, and I like the new look of how easy it is to get in and out, and that we don't have to do all the joining and all this sort of stuff, and it's kind of nice, and just concentrating on the shows. And I just put if you look at the archives, Soda, I just found a new way to put the archives up there today, because they go, there is an echo. Where? No, Empathy said the echo is quite good. They're talking about my VG again.
That's an interesting topic.
On their side. Tommy just wants to see me freak out, because he knows how I freak out about echoes. And I know Darren's in the chat room going, what is this Tommy saying to Rev Mel? I'm going to beat him up. I can hear all of their waves. So spirituality, you have gotten, have you discovered spirituality and BDSM together?
I don't know if I would quite call it spirituality. I would more just call it a sense of calmness and inner peace. I don't really associate it with any sort of structured spirituality. It's just kind of a go with the flow, just try to put good karma on the wheel type thing. Really.
I like that. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of self-discovery too. I mean, listening to the Hicks tapes, because I've been channeling spirit guides.
Oh, cool.
They're kind of pulling me, and when you live in 3 different worlds, and which we live in the the vanilla world, the BDSM world, and the spirit world all at the same time. We talk about authenticity. Sometimes it's really rather difficult to stay truly authentic to one type of way of thinking and one type of way of our life. And it's been quite a journey for me to be able to focus on all of them and to be very authentic to myself. And I find that, speaking to you this evening, that you have found your true authenticity, which is fabulous. It's really, the whole energy of you has changed, and it's been wonderful.
Well, thank you, Mel.
Yeah.
Living my life and enjoying my time. There's like with everything, there's its ups and downs, but it's what we do with it that matters. And I'm having a damn good time.
And you got a beautiful girl. She's gorgeous. Listen, I want the chat room. I'd like to open up some of the questions, and it's going to take a few minutes for them to write in the chat room. I want some serious questions, not the ones that Javier saying he found the Loch Ness monster in my Vajiji. I mean, he's hysterical. But some questions, if you're curious about, the lifestyle in Oregon and Soda's journey, please type in some of your questions, because we're going to take a couple questions and then we're going to call it the end of the show, because we don't do 2 hours anymore. I know you guys would like us to, and if we continue talking for the next 25 minutes, it will be 2 hours.
We're getting there.
We're getting there. Yeah. We're getting there. We've had a really full house tonight, which has been great. You've always been a person that brings in a lot of people to watch your show. A lot of people have missed you.
I don't know why. I just kind of like to hang out and do my thing.
Type in some questions, you guys. There's a little bit of lag. So, is the parties, are they late nights like they are in Los Angeles? Do they stay, people stay all night long? I mean,
They're really not. The kink nights at the Velvet Rope, we do what's called tastings, and that's where there's designated tops, and we just kind of hang out in the little dungeon space area. For the new people who have never done a scene or anything like that, we'll give them a taste of what it's like. And that starts at about 9 o'clock on a kink night and goes till about midnight. And most people just hang out till 3 or 4. At Mead Hall, people are out of there by midnight, 1 o'clock. Valhalla House, 2 o'clock in the morning. Red Cheeks, 1, 2 o'clock. It's not like the Lair when you're still there at 6 o'clock in the morning beating ass.
Yeah, I was there on Friday and Saturday night, and then I'm going there on Friday night for a special birthday party for some people in the porn industry. So I think I have to shave.
You need to get rid of the Wookiee.
I guess so. I mean,
Well, you know what they say now.
I'll bring some condominiums with me.
You know what they say. Pics or it didn't happen.
What?
Pictures or it didn't happen.
Yeah, if I don't shave, I can use that as an excuse. I can't fool around because I didn't shave. But
are there going to be sadists there? Because that's not an excuse. That's just a reason for us to use tweezers.
But I'm not a submissive, so you can't get a tweezer. You can't get a tweezer or a cock near my butt because I'll go sound like a porpoise.
I'm just saying. I could have swore earlier you said you would switch for me and bottom for me. So.
I said if you guys sent me an airplane ticket that I would put balloons on, and you could use a single tail on me.
Oh, okay.
But it's not going to happen.
Just saying. Okay, fine. No tweezers. How about duct tape?
No.
Crazy glue and gauze?
People want to top me. Do men get the same thing? Do women want to top men?
Funny you should ask that. I actually got a message on FetLife today from a 19-year-old dame, and all it said was, "You need to be kneeling at my feet."
Holy shit. She needs to be spanked, put to her room, quarter put on her forehead, and put in the corner.
I started to type a response and went, is it really worth the energy I'm going to be putting into that negativity? Nah, just blocked her. Didn't even worry. I just kind of laughed a little bit and wrote it off. I put up a status about it, but that was about it. It wasn't worth really getting into a pissing contest.
Well, Javier always teases me every time he sees me. He goes, "Get down on your knees, bitch!" And people drop they drop their mouth when they see him talking to me like this. People look at him as if he's some diseased character. How dare he disrespect Rev Mel? And I look at him, and all I do is laugh because he's my friend, and I know that he respects me. And he's going to say something really smart ass in the room right now when he hears that.
Well, I have a thing, something like that with a good friend of ours by the name of Mistress Valhalla. We'll be standing around bullshit, and she'll say something to me, and I'll immediately drop to my knees in front of her with my hands behind my back, and yes, mistress, and it just cracks her the fuck up. It's funny. The first time I did it, you could have heard a pin drop in the room the first time I did it. And she just turned bright red and gives me a big ol' hug. She's like, that was funny shit.
Well, Entropy in the chat room says, the young girl, the 19-year-old that sent you, he goes, send her my way, Soda.
Yeah. I don't remember that chick's name. I laughed about it. I was like, and for a second, I kind of felt how the submissive girls feel when the guys or the submissive or the dominants just immediately kneel before me and suck my cock. Oh, and by the way, nice to meet you.
Oh, Velcro Doms.
Yeah. Snapchat Doms, yeah.
I'll tell you something. I don't do drive-bys anymore.
Yeah, I'll do tastings at a tastings party, like at the King Night at the Velvet Rope, and that's about it. But as far as pretty much pickup play, yeah, not very often. I have a couple friends of mine up here that I'll top when we go to play parties and whatnot, but that's pretty much about it.
So the tastings is that people show examples of most of this is geared toward new people,
Yes.
And so they come in and they see how to use a toy, and they're able to touch it and to see how you use it, and you talk about it. Is that what tastings is about?
Yeah, that's exactly what they're all about. For me, since I put them through a negotiation, I explain negotiations, I'll show them the toys that I brought with me, and I'll let them pick what they want to try out, and I'll give them, safe words and how to do a nonverbal cue, things like that, and then I'll put them through a short 5, maybe 10-minute scene with it, really light, or depending on how smart ass they are, because I've had a couple that were wanting to be, Betty Badass, or, oh, you're not going to make me scream, you're not going to make me move, and okay, here we go. So, but it's a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, I like dropping a 6'8" man to his knees.
There's a huge crossover between kink and swingers, kink and vanillas with sprinkles. I mean, it's a really big conglomerate. It's really nice, and it works really well.
Well, they're having a conversation in the chat room. Let me highlight a couple of things that have been said besides Javier talking about goats still. At Sweet One, I can say from my experience, let me roll that up. Did I lose it? Oh, I can say from my experience, it is accepted well and is respected as much as poly swingers or any other orientation. And then I'm scrolling down. Desi says someone who gloms onto a person expects them to immediately lick their boots because of course they are of course they are real dominant and lots of knowledge and know what to do.
Yeah, you'll see that at places up here.
Oh, so when someone is a respected dominant, people will drop to their knees and do those.
No. What I meant was since there is such a big crossover, you'll get a lot of the newbies that come in and think that that's what they're supposed to do, is just be that hard ass dominant, and they often make the mistake of every time they see a female, that female's automatically submissive. Oh. Just because they're female. And you'll see that a lot. And let me tell you, the women up here have no problems in looking at a guy and going, fuck you, I may be submissive, but I'm not your submissive. Or if they're a dominant female, no problems in putting that guy on his knees really fucking quick.
I've been in the lifestyle for over 20 years. I still get that, people assuming that I'm submissive and men treating me like that. And it cracks me up. I mean, you never know when you're standing with two people who is going to be the dominant and who's going to be the submissive. You can't tell by looking unless someone's wearing a collar.
Yeah, and you know it's totally okay to ask. You know, how do you identify? Just
Desi was saying that she was explaining a Velcro dom to someone. Yeah, a Velcro dom is just someone that puts it, that anybody they meet, they stick a collar on without even communicating, and then it's off the next day or something like that. Somebody that you maybe might meet on the internet who says, you're mine, bitch, So, have you been on Collar Me, which is now Collar Space?
I had a profile on Collar Me a few years ago, and honestly, all I used it for was to direct people to FetLife.
I think of it as a dating place. I think it is a place if I want to get laid or find a submissive to do my windows.
Yeah, it's a meat market.
Yeah, it is a meat market. And I've never found that FetLife was a meat market for me because I like to know how tall they are. The profiles aren't really complete on FetLife. You have a profile, but you really can't judge. Somebody, a new person just wrote me or said something on FetLife, and she made a comment that she is having a very hard time meeting somebody because the profiles aren't complete. So I told her to go over to Collar Space and basically. But Mel, you are mine, bitch. That's Tommy. Okay. All right. I think you guys are going a little crazy in the chat room. You guys have me fooling around with goats, and now I'm Tommy's bitch. Mr. Cellophane says there's a League of Gentlemen in Portland that attempts to put those Velcro doms in the proper places and put some knowledge into them. Okay, let's talk about that.
That is very true. The League of Gentlemen is actually being ran by a friend of mine by the name of Spooky One, who is a wonderful person. I'm hoping to be able to make it to his birthday party coming up here shortly on Sunday. Yep, on Sunday. And what they do is they're a group of dominants, be it male or female, that are trying to educate people in proper etiquette and how to treat other people with respect. And when somebody comes into the community and they're just running rampant, they don't necessarily police it, but they do make suggestions. Sort of one of those, I saw how you handle this. What if you were to look at it from this point of view? It is definitely not a you need to do this or you need to do that, but it is definitely one of those groups of people that they keep an eye on the community. Everybody up here really watches out for everyone else. They really, really do. The sub-transit network up here is amazingly fast with information.
So if somebody, let's say there's a predator that comes into the community, because there's a huge difference in the way how communities handle these things.
True.
If there's a predator that comes into your community in Oregon, in the Portland surrounding areas, how does your community handle someone that is a known predator and that has hurt somebody? I mean, what happens to that person?
Honestly, I have not been in this community long enough to answer that question with any certainty whatsoever. So I really could not tell you because I have not seen it happen. Not with my own two eyes, and I have not heard it with my own 2 ears. So I couldn't tell you.
Mr. Cellophane, if you can kind of, if you know anything about the answer to that, please type that in the chat room. I would love to know because so do we know how it's dealt here. It's not dealt with.
Yeah, well, it depends on who it is.
A lot of our predators are on this. I'm going to be, hate mail for this one. Sweet One is in the chat room. Welcome, Sweet One, in the chat room. It's nice to see you. A lot of our predators here in Los Angeles are kind of some of our leaders in the community, and they're protected. And you can't say anything bad about them because then the community will turn against you. I mean, how can we prevent that? Because there's a lot of people getting harmed. Do you do the same thing in Oregon?
I am confident in saying this about the community here in Oregon. It doesn't really matter who the offending person would be it a community leader or somebody new coming in. It wouldn't matter if something needed to be called out on the table. I have enough faith in this community and the people in this community to say with a lot of confidence that it would be brought out on the table. Absolutely.
That's good to know. It's really good to know. I wish we could do that more. I'm going to make a couple comments here. let me do this really quickly. Desi said, honestly, sometimes they aren't always good in policing it. I was in a sexual relationship with someone, and various people who knew about his history told me nothing until after I cut the relationship. Okay, and we're going to get back to that. I can understand that because that does happen in Los Angeles. And then thank you for making that statement, Desi. And then Javier says, is the community growing in Oregon, and what kind of new Kingsters are they? Because that's very important of what kind of new Kingsters there are.
The community is growing, and from what I've observed, we have a version of TNG up here that's called Whippersnappers.
Mm-hmm.
And they are very active in trying to get the new people educated so they can make good decisions and not ending up in bad situations. But, no community is perfect. They're going to have people that slip through the cracks. There's going to be groups of people that will be willing to protect one person or another. It's always going to happen. But it's on a very, very small scale, though. As a whole, this community is actually very tight-knit, very loving towards each other, and they tend to take care of each other.
Calvin in the chat room says, I've warned people of a person to stay away from a person. So someone has reached out and has warned somebody. But when you're in a relationship and you meet somebody and you're wooed by them, sometimes a warning, they don't believe the warning until they get hurt. Desi says a lot of 50 Shadeser. I usually get scared away. They usually get scared away quickly. Yes, in Los Angeles also, Des, we have a lot. I mean, I've been teaching at the Lyre d'Assad for roughly about 12 years. And so many of the people that have come into my class since the release of 50 Shades of Shit has come out, they've come in because they've read the book. And it's our job as people that are lifestylers and that are, made this life choices to educate them in the proper way. They are coming in groves, and when the movie comes out, they're going to come in groves even more. Yes. So we have, it's going to be craziness. I mean, and we're finally out of the closet, and we're, in the front screen and the books and the big screen of everybody else that's being able to watch what we do. And we all know that 50 Shades of Grey is not anything like our community. Sweet One says, honestly, predators are the biggest fear in any BDSM community. Myself, I attempt to ignore most predatory advances, as we all do. But those whom I have seen labeled as predators are posted up in FET, and the word of mouth is shown as predator. I try my best to watch out for fellow submissives and the constant area of newbies who come in as doms. That's true.
Okay.
We need to protect everyone.
Well, hang on a second. This is actually being brought from the side of that the D types are the only predators. I have met quite a few S types that are predators, whether they're emotional masochistic predators and they're looking to push somebody to get to that point, physical predators that want to push somebody to get to that point to where it turns to abuse, or they are just looking to tear people apart.
Mm-hmm.
So there are predators on both sides of the slash. Absolutely. It's not fair just to put it all on the D types.
And there's submissives that are stalkers that make hell for a dominant. I've known several people who have been put through hell because they've broken off with a submissive, and the submissive goes and writes every single person that person has seen and tries to cause problems for them. It goes both ways. I mean, if you're sick in the head, if you're a narcissistic sociopath, it doesn't matter what lifestyle you're in, vanilla or what, it's equal. Desi says, I'm so scared of 50 Shaders. Because it's back to rape. It's back-to-back rape, followed by, oh my God, this is so hot that he broke my boundaries. And then we have cellophane. We have Javier that says, yes, there is also the danger of false rumors because of jealousy or revenge. That is true.
Absolutely. And that happened to me in LA. Remember, there was a rumor going around saying that I was spreading STDs.
I remember that. I remember that rumor. So I didn't have sex with you. No, just joking. You gotta have a sense of humor in life.
Absolutely.
You know, yeah. There's rumors that I've had hate mail. My hate mails have been so horrible, so horrible. I can't even, when I think about one person that did a hate mail to me, it almost still makes me cry. It was so bloody bad. It was the worst thing I've ever experienced. But Mr. Cellophane says, I've seen incidents happen. True predators will push out from the munches and label as such. Significant incidents have been kept quiet while neither person gets more than justice or is seen as right or wrong and is gaining no extra support from their personal friends. I personally have opinions of senior members may need to be thrown through the learning loop again. Those are few and far apart. See, this is something we all have in all of our communities, is the same common theme. How do we protect our community? How do we police our community? First of all, we do not have any court in the country that understands safe, sane, and consensual. That we have no protection whatsoever. And I can talk about this now because okay.
What's up?
A friend of mine has been arrested. And he's been arrested for human trafficking.
Oh, no.
He was buying a slave. He was on one website, one BDSM website, I'm not going to say the names of it, and it turned out that he was negotiating with the FBI.
Oh.
There was an FBI sting, and it's an ongoing investigation. And I probably should not be talking about it, but because it came out in the Wall Street Journal this week, I can now speak about it. And because of the fact that I do represent the press, I can speak about it. But he's called me from the prison. They have my phone number. They have my address. He's written me his side of the story. And, the more I find out about it, the more it kind of sickens me. But, men, you can't buy a slave. People, you can't legally own a slave.
Right.
And basically it was presented that the slave was taken against their will, and it was in the negotiations. I talked to his attorney, and he kind of walked through a few things with me, and it upsets me that my friend fell for it, but it also upsets me that my friend participated in it, because you can't. And this is huge. This hasn't even, we have not even been. The Wall Street Journal never ever said it was a BDSM website. Thank God. And I shouldn't really be talking about it. But it's already.
I read your post on that. So.
Pardon?
I read your post on that. That's a pretty rough one.
Oh, my post on it that I took off?
Yeah.
Yeah, I took off because, I didn't know all of the facts. And now that I know more of the facts, I will not write anything out there again. What my friend did was wrong, and so many other people have fallen for it. They've arrested 4 men on this, all in the BDSM community.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's an ongoing investigation. So think.
Yeah, that was just poor judgment.
Yes, it is poor judgment, and I have to be careful what I say because, I don't know who's watching this. I don't know who's listening to this. My phone calls have been listened to by the prison system. My address has gone through the prison system. No, it was not a Russian bride count. They're asking Tommy if it was Russian brides. No. And the attorney read me the accusation, his attorney, because he had permission to. And I can't go into detail about it because it is an ongoing investigation. And I don't want to go out in the BDSM community and talk about it, post it on FetLife, because I don't want to freak everybody out. I don't want people to be fearful and people to be upset. But, if you're going to do something, think clearly. I've known about this for at least a month now, and I've had to keep it to myself because I didn't know all the facts, and now I know a lot more of the facts. And
well, this is how I look at it, Mel.
Pardon?
For new people, this is how I look at it, and this is just, again, my opinion. For new people coming into this world, it's one of two things. They're either really scared, and they have reason to be. For us, this is normal. This is what we are. This is the way we live our life. So this is normal for us. This is our vanilla. For somebody on the outside looking in, it can be really scary. And then you have the other people that go running and screaming and jump in with both feet and end up getting themselves fucked up in the end because they weren't paying attention. They just didn't know. They didn't have the education to protect themselves.
Yes.
Is what it is. Those that come into it a little trepidatious and a little fearful, they should be a little fearful. There's a lot of people in our communities that are not of the best quality, shall we say.
Yes.
And it's out there. There are predators out there. There is real danger out there. A few months ago, I reached out to this girl that I saw on FET because she wrote about her first time with a dominant. She didn't know his name. She met him at a restaurant. He blindfolded her, took her back to his dungeon, and had his way with her. But the thing is he was totally 100% A-okay with it.
Well, you know what? I remember before I got into BDSM, I had experiences like that. I was stupid. I was young. I knew nothing. When the internet first came out, it was an easy way to get laid. I knew nothing. And now, what I know, that's why I teach. Because I don't want people to make, I was very fortunate, and that girl was very fortunate that he was a good person. Very fortunate. Because there are people that are not good people that are invading our BDSM lifestyle that are doing these things.
That's why I always say the internet is a two-edged sword when it comes to our lifestyle. It's great for networking and getting education out there and putting events out there, but it also opened up the door for a lot of bad people to come out there and prey on the people who just don't know.
Oh, definitely, definitely. And that's why it's good to have organizations like your tasting and for teaching people things and to have classes. And that's why I teach. I don't get paid. 12 years I've been teaching at the Lair. I don't get paid, but I do it because it makes a difference. And that's what we have to do as a community, is that all of us, who know better, have to make a difference.
Well,
we have
somebody called us.
Yeah, that's why I do TSR Network.
I agree. Hey, Mel, we've hit that 2-hour mark again.
I know. I know. Oh. This is crazy. But, we're very passionate about this. Master Cellophane says the story of O isn't even fully a legal book in the United States, and it pertains to this matter. Yeah,
it's out there, but you know what? It's also all over the world. It's not just here in our community or in the States. Things like that happen all over the world every day. I was just watching a documentary a couple months ago about trafficking, and in other countries, they start prostituting their kids when they're 5 and 6 years old.
I know. And they sell their children. They'll sell their daughters.
It's not just in the BDSM community. It just stands to reason that right now, since 50 Shades of Grey came out, and we've been outed to the general public that we're under a microscope.
Yep. Well, one of my concerns is all of the children that are coming across the border is where are they going to end up? Are they going to end up with human traffickers? That's one of my concerns, and I think about it all the time. Who's there to really protect those children? Children have to be protected, and I know in some communities, in some countries, that they do sell their children. They do these things, and we don't. And when you hear these things that happen, it literally gets in the pit of my stomach, and it makes me sick to my stomach that anyone could ever harm a child, because we are you know, let's put this straight for anyone that's watching this that is vanilla. We don't believe in human trafficking. You know,
Nope.
we don't own slaves per se as, you know, that have been kidnapped. Our people that we own, it is called consensual. We are consensual with each other. It's very important for people to know that.
Yeah, this is an agreed upon lifestyle on both ends that can be terminated from either side at any point in time. Because slave or not, if that person's done, that person's done. They have every right to take that collar off their neck and be like, and just straight up, look, I'm done with this. This isn't working for me anymore. And there's really nothing we as dominants or masters can do about it.
Yep.
Short, I mean, and still stay legal and humane about it.
Well, could you imagine going to court and saying to the judge, well, judge, my slave, you know, violated her contract and she left me and I'm going to sue her? Give me a fucking break. It will never happen. Never. No. I mean, it's a fantasy inside of our heads. Nobody owns anybody else. It's called consensual for a reason.
Right. Well, that's the reality of it.
Mm-hmm.
That is the bottom line reality of it. She wears my color because she earned it, I offered it, and she chose to accept it.
That would make a great song. She wears my collar because she earned it. She accepted it. You know, sorry. You can make it into a rap song. Do you know how to rap?
No, I do not. It sounds more country than anything else.
Oh, I would love to learn how to rap. You know, I would love to learn how to do that sort of stuff. So crazy. So crazy. So anybody in the chat room has a question? If not, we are going to say goodbye. You know, they're still talking in the chat room. They're just having a great old time. You know? And I think Tommy's insulting people as he always does, and we love you, Tommy. And Javier is still, you know, wondering about, you know, goats. And we've had a really good full house tonight, which has been great. Soda, I want to thank you so much. Or Soda, sir. See? There's very few people that I do that with. You know.
Thank you, Rev Mel.
Yes, it's been a joy having you on the show. And Darren says contracts are stupid. See, everybody has opinions, which I love.
It varies from dynamic to dynamic. It's what works for you and your dynamic. There is no one true way. There's general guidelines, absolutely. There's certain things that should be done a certain way, but there's nothing done in concrete, really.
Wait, entropy. What is this? I'll kick you out of funky ass beat. Oh, I'll kick you out of funky ass beat. Thank you. Yeah. I'm looking at that go. I thought he was going to kick my ass, you know. Javier's still going goat sex. Oh my God. And Tommy wants to know what your favorite organ is. Organ. See? I love my peeps. I love my peeps. They go, good night, Mel. Take my advice. Control your steam. Control your steam and end it while you can.
All right, guys. It has been a whole lot of fun as always. Mel, we will have to talk about getting you up here for Kink Fest.
I would love that. I would love that. And thank you so much, Soda, for coming. And your girl is beautiful. And thank you for sharing your life up in Oregon with us. And it makes me want to go up there and give you a big hug and sleep in between the two of you. And I think that it's been wonderful to learn so much about your community. And I'm so glad that there's so many different places and stuff that you can go to up there. It amazes me. And I want to thank everybody that I'm going to turn the camera on so I can control. You know, I am a controlling bitch. So I want to thank everybody that has been in the chat room. Your conversations have been delightful. And please come back for other shows. And if you've missed the show, we just found another way to do the archives in the archive area if you've missed any show. But this has been a wonderful experience, and I want to thank everybody for watching the show. And we will see you guys next week, and I love you. Here we go. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, Mel. Love you.